Hola, chicas. Welcome to Encuentras Your Voice podcast, championing Latina voices from ancestry to authenticity, creating a living archive of our diaspora, and celebrating the aha moments that inspired success that fuels our cultura. Each story gives voice to ancestors whose legacy was lost, silenced, or erased, and shares the journey of leaving behind those destructive expectations and embracing joyful determination in authenticity. By the end of the show, you'll have met your next best friend. I'm your host, Consuelo Crosby, here with you every Wednesday at a new time this year as we keep evolving into a greater version from when we started. With our global audience expanding, we have moved our drop time to midnight, or 12:01 a.m. on Wednesdays, here on the sunny California Pacific Coast. Thank you for joining us today on this second full episode of Latinas Kicking Off the New Year, New You, with messages of empowerment, self-love, and embracing your true identity in authenticity. This episode is the epitome of why we share our stories. The importance of amplifying Latina voices is always first and foremost here, but doing the deep dive into who we are brings words of wisdom that resonates with each of us, regardless of heritage or life experiences, and this creates a sense of belonging, a sense of community, and support in navigating this world, because this world is too big and too difficult to just try and do on your own. So as you lean into these episodes, hear the commonality, hear the gems, the treasures, the words of wisdom that might help you in discovering who you are, the core, as we hear later in this episode, peeling back all the layers of what you've been taught, what's expected from you, what has been learned by your surroundings, and really finding yourself. And today's guest is all about the fire, the fuego, the fuel. She is an eternal light to empower women to live authentically and unapologetically. And she has the business to make it happen. No, she's not a life coach. She probably could be. And by the end of this episode, you will see possibility like never before. Mariery Young, Panamanian with Chinese heritage, or Chino Latina, as she lovingly defines herself, is founder of Mezclao Studio. Branding identity, illustration, and surface design for brands and entrepreneurs, with clients like Nike, Facebook, Instagram, and Sephora. Mezclao's portfolio explores identity by celebrating heritage, rich biodiversity, and folklore, with an illustrated representation of culture in bold colors and playful shapes, all of which were inspired in her from a very young age without her even thinking about it. Being the third generation of entrepreneurs in a matriarchal family makes it seem obvious that's where Mariery would succeed. But that's not where she started. In fact, as she says, it took many, many aha moments to discover her true self, and mentors who saw something in her that she didn't see for herself, and the beauty of life experiences in her beloved Panama to bring her to this moment. Mariery is beyond unique, with so many facets of interest that she is sure to have something in common with just about anyone. When you look at her website, mezclaostudio.com, you see bold colors and graphics of nature, honoring her heritage and matriarchs, but you probably won't expect how she doom preps for meeting her deadlines. Mariery passionately champions women to discover their true authenticity, to embrace the messiness of that authenticity, saying, every time you choose yourself over something that doesn't fit you, you will start getting more comfortable with yourself. And that is what sets you apart and makes you unique. It's time to sit back and get cozy, feel the energy of Mariery Young and the endless possibilities of becoming your most authentic self. Welcome to Encuentras Your Voice podcast. I'm so happy you are here, and I can't wait to get this story of yours out to our audience because, oh my goodness, it is so beautiful, from the cultura to your familia to everything you inspired today for our audience. So welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for the invite, Consuelo. I'm really excited to be part of this podcast. And it was just like meant to be on the Threads feed.
Thank you, Threads. Shout out
Thank you,
Threads. As we always do here on the podcast, we love to start in honoring our heritage and our ancestry and creating a living archive of that for the Latina diaspora. So would you like to share your story?
Yes, I'm Mariery Young, and I will be what we call like China Latina. My ancestry is 25% Chinese, and then the rest is all mixed together. It's like mezclado. So it's like a little bit of everything, like the last name. My last name is Young, so it's Chinese. Then my other last name is Alforna, which is Spanish, but it's Latino. We start getting the salsa there, like the mixing.
And you were coming to us from Panama, no?
Yes, I'm based in Panama.
So all of it, which will lead, we will learn later on, to the whole essence of this beautiful background you have behind you. So for all our video watchers, like Yao. Yeah, so thank you for sharing that. That is quite the mix. And I don't know.
I think there's a lot of Asian influence. I don't think say that much, but like in Panama, it's very common. It's like, and like I grew up saying, they calling me Chinita. And I think I look more mixed out, but like I used to look more Chinese compared to when I was little. So I think it's like knowing that mix of heritage, and like it's a very, you could get DNA, they get tú eres, and then like the mixing, So
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize there is a large population in Panama.
Yeah, there's a lot of like, all in the creative industry, especially. I think we're like a lot of like Chino Panameños. We call Chino Panameños, so we're a lot of like us.
So let's dive in, because we talk about the aha moment here that really leads to your authenticity. And in talking to you previously, I feel like you had this giant aha moment that moved you off your longstanding professional career. But then you had so many other aha moments that led into this very niche, empowered presence in your now entrepreneurial career.
Yeah, I think for me, like I said, like before, when we first introduced ourselves, it was aha for me was not nice. It's like in your face aha. I think Latinas know this. Oh, maybe I'm not so sure. And then life keeps throwing buckets of cold water to your face until you realize what you have to do. The first one was me graduating from being an architect, studying, still working my first job as a designer in architecture, and it got a teacher refusing to give me render Photoshop classes because he was like, I drew better, so I should be an artist.
Oh, so, you drew better. Okay, clarification.
Yeah. He said he asked, the first thing he asked me when I was gonna book a class with him was like, please draw me something on paper. And then he was like, why do you want Photoshop classes? And I was like, I don't know how to use the software. And he's like, well, I don't think so. I'm not gonna give you Photoshop classes. I'm gonna give you art classes. So.
Oh, he saw it in you. He saw you had the gift of...
And then, like you find those little moments, conversations, people in your life. I think life puts you with those moments or people, or just people. They just like know something that you don't see in yourself. And, they just like aha you in, just like...
I call them angel drops. They're put in your path because you're just not getting it.
I mean, this angel drop, he was like, Rico, his name is Rico, by the way.
So,
perfect. Yeah, Rico looked like from the 70s, long hair, colorful shirt. Like he looked from California, surfer, 70s, Panamanian mom, American dad. Like, yeah, Rico was like, got me into
Rico Suave.
Rico, right, yeah, exactly.
Rico Suave.
But it's that. I think ahas are like, should I quit my job? Should I pursue what feels right for me? Should I do what I'm supposed to do? It's those little, like, I think there's more than one aha. I think you like just let those ahas start shaping you towards the path that feels right for you.
So you were in architecture and you hit this moment.
I worked my first jobs were like, drawing, project planning, well, this the interior designer for kitchens and cabinets and for a brand and traditional office, because I was like, okay, I'm studying this and I need to make money and I need to get experience. And so for me, it was like, I'm open to throwing as many different types of architecture to see where I fit. But also I wanted to do art, I wanted to so I would after work, I will go to the art show, then I'll go to the art fairs and go to the events and go to the coffee shop art show. And then I start feeling more comfortable in that scene and more welcoming in that scene. And then little by little, you start trying everything. As an artist, I feel like when you start in art, you start doing everything. You want to do sculpture, you want to do murals, you want to do painting, you want to do all this stuff, right? So you start jack of all trades. Then you start feeling lost because it's such a big world of art. It's so beautiful, but it's so spacious and so
complex.
Overwhelmed. I think a lot of young artists are going to feel overwhelmed because art is such a broad spectrum of the word and where you fit. When I got my first job, there was Nike, and they wanted me to do something that I never done before. That was clients in Panama and Panamanian women and all this stuff. It was like, okay. Literally, Nike put me to shape, but into artist shape. But yeah, the art director at Nike at that moment, I was working with all the international artists. She was so great. It was she was so patient and so pushing me in the most positive way into where I was. Once I finished the project, I was I felt like I was shaped. I was okay. She was a true art director in that sense. She directed me not only for the project and for the brand, but also for myself as an artist. Illustration, digital illustration, the connection to fonts, the connection back to why do I do this? So it was everything.
Wow.
Started connecting.
Wow. That is an amazing story. First of all, to have such important influences in your life because they saw you. But let's just set in this moment, can we? Yep. Your first job was Nike?
Yeah, Nike.
I mean, snaps going out.
I know. It was
come on, amazing.
The one thing that she liked about me was a picture I posted of a self-portrait of me as an artist. I was just starting to explore drawing myself. And she was that is the one we want. So even the characters in the store are there's one that one of the girls just wearing my grandmother's necklace because she wanted something. She saw a picture and she's I want that necklace. But then she didn't know that was my grandmother's necklace that I always wore. So she helped me understand those little nuggets of history, right? And then the Monstera plant that is my logo mark, I drew it for the project. And then I took it out of one of the revisions, and she was bring back that thing. That's very you. And so that's how the logo mark started because they kept asking, and I was okay, this is what identifies me. I think it's an evolution. It's it's not a one-time fix. I think you start adding little things, little by little. You start getting more comfortable. You start exploring more. And I love that about working in design and working identities because you can bring in so much about yourself in little details. And maybe somebody will pick on that. Somebody will be oh, I feel connected about this. Oh, this reminds me of something. And I think there's little silent conversations of connection with people. And I love that little thing about designing and adding more about culture and heritage to yourself.
Ooh, okay. That hit on a big point too. So she was seeing in you, she wasn't Latina though, was she?
No, she was Chinese.
Isn't that amazing? So she was seeing in you parts of you, maybe that you obviously loved, and maybe that's what she picked up on, but it's so much a part of you that you don't think to put it out there and showcase it as something. It's just you innately.
I think that's why collaborating, and having diverse teams is important because sometimes you're so overwhelmed all the other stuff that you don't even see that yourself has the secret ingredient that you have thing that makes you special. So I feel instead of trying to fit in or trying to follow a trend or trying to change yourself, what you're doing is you're taking off layers and just getting to the source, what actually is the core things that makes you. And those are heritage, experiences, community, personal likes. They're things that you're attracted to. And maybe they're attracted because of your family. Maybe they are because of your background. Maybe they are because of your things that remind you of your childhood. So I think going back to those core things will set you differently and will make you more valuable and share your voice.
Perfect. Yes, which is exactly our tagline, from ancestry to authenticity. Because it is, all of us need to be tumbled like the way they tumble rocks to polish, right? You just have to go through things and start realizing where your comfort level is, where your passion and love really is, and where you feel you can just thrive, right? That sustainability, because like you say, trying to be something you're not.
That's actually for many aha. That's many ahas going your way. There's nothing to show you're not making it.
That's going to have you go down a rabbit hole first before you climb out from your aha moments.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree. I think like over the years, like I see myself back and I see when I did not listen to my gut and the rabbit hole I threw myself into versus when I was like, okay, I'm going to trust my gut with it. And actually it works out. It doesn't work out how you expect it, but I think once you make a decision that's true to yourself, you can work through the problems or work through the obstacles because you know that decision was your decision and it was not, you were doing something to please other people. I think that's the difference between pretending or trying to follow a trend versus making a choice that makes sense to you.
Ooh, I love that. That's a quote. Yes. Because then you get rid of self-doubt because you trust yourself. It was your gut who told it to you to begin with. It's your soul talking. You trust it. So if you're going along with those ideas or those intuition feels, you don't even have to think about it. You just go.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You feel, and I feel like the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. We're not talking about like you make a choice and everything goes pretty like a movie. We're talking about every time you choose yourself over something that is doesn't fit you, you will start getting more comfortable with yourself. And then you'll start looking back and you're like, oh, I made the right choice.
Exactly. Oh, that's such a beautiful story. So you went from this career and you went entrepreneurial into your own business.
Yes.
And
I wanted a studio, like I think every archetype wants a studio. I think that's like a architecting, like, the word studio with like, I don't know why we all want it. We all want our own studio, right?
Yes, definitely.
Our house, we always want that.
Yes.
And by working in traditional architectural jobs, I felt like I was losing myself. I didn't have control of the choice.
Oh, yeah.
But that also helped me understand talking to clients, talking to customers, like the kitchen design thing threw me to so many different people, so many different types of customers. And I really connection, but I didn't like having control of the final say. It was like limited because it was kitchen cabinets and countertops and a pie. That was it. I was like, after the kitchen, I don't have anything else to talk about the house, right?
But so even that, because I'm a structural engineer, I do the design. Even that, you're right. The ultimate decision, and this could apply to everyone, right? Everyone who's not an entrepreneur. The ultimate decision is whoever's responsible or paying or
exactly.
Even when you, the designer, the entrepreneur, know that that's not the best way to do it.
Yes.
But
so I think the natural choice, it was like, what do I like about my career? And I knew like I love designing. I love working on projects. I love that when I work with Nike, I love combining how to put it into the store and the finishes and installation and artwork together. I really like that process. It was like, what can I do more of this? How can I get more of this? And I think it's by trying the things you don't like, it also helps you to know what you want to do. I don't know if it was the healthiest choice, or if it was the smartest choice, but I was like, by golpes and trancazos. So I say, it's like, okay, you're going to learn.
This is why I love talking to Latina. The things that just won't translate.
I think it's a first daughter Latina thing, right? I think all our first daughter Latinos are. We always have to make a jump that not even our parents know about, or our family, or our siblings, or the familia knows about. So I think the jump is easy. We keep jumping every day, every single time, right? We keep jumping things that we don't even want to jump to. So I think by going into like, not for me. Yeah. And accepting that and moving to another option is also a way to figure out what works for you.
Yeah, that's interesting you bring up. We will get into that later. The first first gen daughter, and we make it look too easy. I think that's our biggest problem because we just suck it up. No drama. Yeah. We too much. We take on too much. We do too much, and we make it look easy. And that's another story.
Yeah,
that's a whole other. I think that's almost like a dedicated podcast. I think someone's already it does move. But let's get into the studio because you're so proud of the studio, Miss Clau. Right?
Miss Clau. It mixed together. Mix Clau. But I want it to be Panamanian. So Panamanians, we have a lot of like English, Spanish words. They're born from misspelling and understanding. So I wanted to have that bad English translation on purpose. So that's why instead of an S is a Z. And then instead of a D, Miss Clau, like properly, I was like CLAO, Miss Clau. Because I wanted to like have that mixed together, that misinterpretation, that new version of thing. And it was like very Panamanian, like the camarón. But I love that. It's my favorite Panamanian word. It's like camarón means side job, side hustle. And it comes from the misspelling of Americans when they were here for the Panama Canal. They will get hired by locals for side jobs. But they didn't want them to come to the front door, right? So they'll say, come around. Like, come around to the next door, to the kitchen door. We're going to come around. And there was enough, and Panamanians at that point was like their first contact with Americans in English, right?
Mm.
And Panamanians are never going to say, I don't understand you. I want to get the money, right? I want to do the job. Like, that's a very Latino thing. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, we're not talking the same language. That's okay. Don't worry. I'll get the job. I'll figure it out.
CC, no problem.
CC, no problem, right?
No problem.
So we're like, oh, yeah, camarón, right? Oh, CC, camarón. Oh, this guy next door, he wants a camarón, so come around. Yeah. So to this day, we know that. I love it. I love
it. Yeah.
I think cultura, that is cultura. That is trying to work. That's understanding. So
yeah.
I wanted that on my name, and I wanted to represent something that was very me, that was mixed together, like from the background, from the heritage, from the projects, from the way I approached projects. So that was very, and then the word studio because the architect in me needed it.
So you have, and I describe it this way a lot of times, but you very much are both sides of your brain firing. You have the creative space that is just like, I got to wear color and I see things differently, and and then you have this analytical side that's very
that's
like
the planner,
businesswoman. The organized,
the first
planner.
Latina who needs the Excel spreadsheet with the to-do list, the breakdown, and the schedule, and know how much is That's like there. Yeah.
Yes, you have to. So both sides are firing. Both sides seem to get equal attention.
Yes.
Because of the projects you take on. But let's speak now to the beautiful graphics. So your graphics, everyone can go to your website, Miss Clau, no?
You can go to my website, like my business card.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted you be greeted with Chinese dogs to welcome you for good luck. So it's like, you can see, it's like if you're Chinese, you're going to get it because it's like all this little Easter eggs of Latina, tropical diversity, and then the colors.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. No, I didn't know that. But now I have to go back and look because I just get lost in it.
The Chinese,
I get lost in the graphics because I love color. I wanted to be a record album artist.
That's when I started my aesthetic. My uncle is 10 years older than I am. And my grandma will give me money to take me to the park and have ice cream. That money would go to the record store where he and I, hours. He listening to the new records and me flipping through covers. So I grew up looking at record covers of rock and roll.
Right? And that's when there was no Photoshop. There was if anything, it was cut and paste and photograph. It was
photocopy and going to copy.
Yes, but a lot of original artwork. That was the place to have your original artwork. And I thought, I just wanted to do that.
Everything was like the text, the cover, the names, the title,
color,
the pictures, the photographs, and like having 10 years difference between me and my uncle was like, I was raised by his life. So it was like MTV instead of Disney. It was rock and roll and it was heavy metal. So for like I grew up watching heavy metal posters, Iron Maiden posters. I grew up watching those colorful like graphics and illustration. I also grew up with my grandmother who has a beauty salon. So she had books from Europe, a haircut, and they were beautifully illustrated.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I'd have like the Vidal Sassoon haircut. Like she had a post of
Mm-hmm.
Vidal Sassoon of how to do the perfect haircut. And guess what? They're beautiful illustrations because Vidal
Yeah.
Sassoon hired illustrators to illustrate his work.
Wow. Yeah.
So I had that intake visually from my childhood. None of them were like doing it intentionally, but guess what? They did the job, right?
You're right. Just the exposure. But
The
your
exposure.
familia has so much artistic love in it. Like
Yeah.
they love the arts and that
Yeah, man.
influence.
Most of my kids' pictures are me on a drawing table.
It's in your DNA. You were born to do this.
It's that
And you found it very
investment.
young though. I feel like
Oh yeah, but mom, single mom,
there
mom
you
didn't
go.
believe in nanny, so I was
Yes.
either always do after classes, after
Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
art, ceramics, dance, whatever she could put me in while she was working, and then pick me up after. That was it.
Yeah.
And then when she couldn't take me, she's an architect too, so when she couldn't take me to classes, she would take me to the meetings, to construction sites and stuff. So she would take block of paper,
Yeah.
her pens, and my pens, and then just drop me wherever it was like no hassle or something, and I just kept drawing away while I was like she was doing her meetings. It's like I'll be back down for this hour and I'll just be drawing. So
Amazing.
I'll eat up blocks of paper and long rolls of paper. Like she'll buy like big newspaper rolls because they were cheap. She figured out it was cheaper than the block of paper.
Yeah.
So you go to the newspaper and buy those big, and then she just throw it on the floor for me to draw.
Yeah.
I mean, I think every piece of paper and pen that my mom bought me was an investment. So it's like, till this day, I'm like a little kid when I go buy papers and pen. And I go with her and she's like, oh my God, like you haven't grown up with that kid. This is the other thing that you haven't.
No, you've just grown more into yourself. Seriously, like going to the art store is more fun than a candy store or anything
yeah.
else. It's like, no, all the things. So let's get into in your studio, in the designs that we see behind you, in the designs we see on your website, and in all the companies that you're providing branding for. Very focused, obviously, on the color, but the graphics are natural and they look native to Panama. And so
Panama is rich.
talk about that. Yeah, talk about how did you come to that? Was that coming off Nike or was that something you brought to Nike? And then you spun it continually.
Nike's brief was, we want Panamanian women working out. And they come from an American background, so they thought that we were like in Chicago, walking to the, running to the lake, right?
Okay.
Running to the city. And I was like, look, no Latina. And this is what I did. My architect brain, I'm going to go and film where the Panamanian women work out. And I'm going to send it to Nike. And I send them so many videos of women working out. And I was like, look, no Latina runs around the city in workout clothes. They run when they have to go to meetings. So this idea of like beautiful, like crack, gyms. I was like, Panamanian women work they go to the jungle, they go to the beach, they go to nature, that's when they are outdoorsy. That's when they do training. That's when they go working out. We have jungle. We don't have beautiful ended parks. We have track. We have trails, but they're like between the jungle, between the messy plants. So that's when I was like, okay. And I love plants. My grandmother has the green thumb and the
plants.
Here, we're very, very proud plant mama family here. I like my grandmother's garden because it was messy. It was like a lot of plants. It's too many. Like you don't even know where one starts and one begins. And I love that messiness of like textures and colors. And she always had plants that had like beautiful leaf with colors and dots and points. So that's what you can see here. All this like little things are like some of her favorite plants. And they're also native to Panama because we have such a rich diversity. We have so many flowers, so many palm trees, so many different types of trees, so many types of orchids. So I really want to bring that into my work. And luckily the companies and the project briefs, they're always like, oh, let's connect back to heritage. And I was like, I connect nature. And that has so much story about going back to natural, going back to things that make you happy. And guess what?
Right. Your abuelita, she had a big influence on you just from living her life and you just studying everything that she was into. But the colors themselves, obviously they're not the natural colors. Maybe some are, but this bold graphic design, where did that come from?
The colors are mom's influence. exactly. I blame it on her. Her basics for me were orange, bright magenta and orange.
That was your black and white?
Yeah, that was my black and white. If I look at my kids' photos, I think like there's a picture of her she was all yellow and I was like gold patterns on it. She definitely set the bar, and then I know that the way she dressed in color is because of my grandmother. It's a generational connection. Third generation entrepreneur in my family. Connections
Matriarchs.
with plants and color. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my grandmother wears bright lipstick. So there's a lot of things that my abuela definitely influenced the way I see things, connect to plants,
Mm-hmm.
have those connections. And I feel like by putting it in my work, if saying thank you, it's like, oh, here it is. She's like, she's like, oh, I love that plant. I love that flower. And that's enough for me. But like, but like, I was like, but then she's like, well, why do you mention me? It's like,
oh, yeah, no, the
like,
influence. The world you create is like an homage to your entire family.
It's her messy,
the matriarchs.
I call them their misbehaved plots. That's how I call it. That's in my class. Because they never go the way you want. About her plans are like, she's like, I put it here, but she wants to do it this way. So I'm just going to let her do whatever she wants. And I always love that. Malportadas misbehave with plants. Like, they just, and I think that's a very Panama thing. Like, if you go through the roads and driving, you see like bird of paradise, you see Monstera, then you see all these things come together, but they're like, just.
It's not like here in America where everything's manicured. Where everything's cut and in its place.
That's why I like about Panama's quirky. Yeah. It's like mixed together. It's so confusing because if you want to streamline, you will never do it. You can't even streamline my family tree here. It's like so confusing. Wait, who is your uncle? Wait, what's your cousin? Wait, who? How? Oh, no. So it's like, I feel, let's not try to streamline ourselves. Let's try to like embrace that messiness and let's start to like, bring back those things that make us different. And I think that's beautiful in Latino culture.
So really complex.
Yes.
It's really complex. It's like global. It's universe all into one.
Exactly. And there's so many things to embrace about being Latino. And I feel like the one thing that connects us is that messy, that's like mixed together of it. Like that's when the things get interesting. That's when the things are different. So I feel like if we go to those things, definitely. Yeah. Let's keep bringing those stuff back.
I love that. That's so important to hear. And this is in the new year. And it's a really great way to start because too much of the time, like you say, one within ourselves, you're trying to choose, be this or be that. And then you get outside into society and they're like, oh, I better be that because that's what they expect or that's what they see as successful or that makes you a lot of money. Rather than just say, nope, here's the whole package.
Yeah, this is
the way it is.
This is me. This is me being messy. This is me doing the things they told me when I was a kid I shouldn't do. Like, I think one thing all Latinas can say is that once in our life we have to hear somebody tell us like, oh, can you mute down your makeup because it's too bright?
Oh, so
like,
for sure.
Or you have to go with like, what is it called? French manicure instead of having like the bright colors, right?
Right.
I think every Latino has gone to a beauty salon where the manicure is like, oh, you should go for more muted. You should not go with like bright colors. And I think that little microaggression, we should pick up on that and be like, maybe I should just go with the bold color. What's wrong with it? Doesn't say I'm less professional. It's like, that's nothing.
Yeah. But a lot of women get pushback.
Yeah.
In professional.
We all have fell into that trap, right? We all have done that.
Don't wear jewelry. Don't wear big earrings.
Don't wear big earrings. Don't wear natural hair. The only hair should be straight hair, right? The only professional hair should be straight.
So let's dive into this because you are hitting right on the edge of what I see as your major tumbling aha moments. Is that emboldened, empowered woman. Like, no, you're not going to put me in a box. No, I'm not going to fit your expectations. I am me. I am messy. I am mixed. And I love all of it.
Yes.
And you got this. You were inspired more so, but it's natural to you because you can't learn this stuff by the book, The Woman Who Runs with Wolves.
My Bible.
Yes, by Clarissa Pincola Estes, no?
I need to meet her. It's like, I need to have, I think Clarissa, I was like, I need you.
Yes. Tell us about this book. Where did you come across it and what it's like? Because I don't know how many of our listeners have read it and the obvious impact it's had on you.
Oh my, Well, the book came from a brand new project for a client, for Melanie. She's a film director, Venezuela. She does directing for like diversity projects. And we were talking about her personal branding as a director, as a Latina. So I always tell them, like, send me stuff that inspires you because I want to get to know you better so I can know where to like drag those like little details, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she kept telling me about this book. And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. It's a gift for me. I'll just send it to you. And I was like, perfect, send me the book. And then I start reading this book and it just like clicks. It's folktales and fairy tales that we all know about. We all listen to it. We all seen the movies. We all seen the books. We'll see the children's books. But the way she talks about it, about telling stories, and these stories have been edited by men. And the real version of these books, these fairy tales, were actually messages from our grandmothers, from our mothers, to learn valuable lessons about being a woman and how they've been filtered and edited in a different way. So when she starts breaking down every fairy tale, like from Beauty and the Beast, from the Ugly Duckling, and like the archetypes in the story from like old characters and what the meanings they are, like the relationship to the mother, the relationship to the grandmother that shows up, like the old lady, even the old, remember like the
evil
one. The witch that lives outside the town with the plants, right?
Yeah.
The old that we all seen this woman, right? Like it's
Right.
like the one they call the witch, right? She's
Right.
like in the outside town with plants. Now I see her, it's like she was smart. It's like, of course they don't want the old lady because she's the one who knew how to be natural, how to cure women with natural medicine instead of locking them down. So you start seeing all this, reading this book, and she focuses on the creative woman and how to come back to yourself as a creative woman in relationships, in relationship with yourself, and connect back to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she's a storyteller and she comes from a family of storytellers and she's Latina, that helps too, that adds points. And then she collects story from other women, like the stories that she writes about are from other women telling their stories, and like they're still so it's like it's a month.
Wow. Okay. Shout out. We have to have that. That will be in the show notes for sure. But shout out, pick it up, bring us back, because especially here in America. Wow, we are on the verge of just being the stereotypical archetype of female damsel in distress, needs a man, can't speak or think for herself.
So I think we're on a good time in this world that we can understand that the perspective that we're being told was not the right one.
Exactly. Which is why we do the podcast, right? Because here you need to get your own story. Mm-hmm. In archive. You need to have your own story from your own words, from your own time, right here, right now. No one's going to change your narrative. Yeah. No one's going to say, oh, she was inspired by some guy that she met. And that's where she decided to do these graphics of the natural plant. We know as abuelita. Don't take that away from her.
Yeah, exactly. And I think saying those things are important because it empowers. I think saying thank you to your moms and your grandmothers. I mean, they didn't want you to be an artist or they didn't want you to do something, but they did something in your childhood enough to change your perspective. Like abuelitas, I mean, you have to understand they're a different generation, right? So they come from a different perspective. So they were, most of them were thought to be silent, right?
Exactly.
So abuelita was not going to sit you down and tell you the lowdown. It wasn't how it was.
Well, they might have.
Yeah, but they were going to find they're going to find a sneaky way to tell you something.
Yes.
I think there's a value and there's really good knowledge from the previous generations, just that they didn't have good branding. They didn't have good expression on it. They didn't have good
they didn't have you.
They didn't have me. They didn't have, they didn't have, but like I feel, yes, family had done for you without even you noticing. Connecting those threads of effort to put you where you are. I think as a Latina and from a matriarchy, that's my way of saying thank you to my mom and my grandmother, and they both know it.
You brought up a couple points in this work. You do branding for other companies, entrepreneurs, and you talk about getting to know them, which is what led you to receiving this book, Women Who Run with Wolves. So the branding is really getting to know who the person is. Yes. But you work a lot with women.
Yeah.
Do you like to empower the women in their own businesses then through their branding?
Yes, it's women contacting me. It's not that I don't work with men. For me as a woman, it's important to work with other women and women-led projects because I don't understand the value in it and I understand the empowering in it. So like for me as a designer and Latina, it's important to go as more projects that democratize to like amplify the diversity is a yes. It's a solid yes to me. It's like, okay, yeah, this feels right with what I want. And I think the connection is being that unapologetic, right? They're like on that stage of Latina that they want to do their own thing. And I feel like that's the common thread with all my clients is that they're from different Latina communities, but it's that fire, that fuego, that like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. It's like, you know, and it's beautiful because I work with them and it's seen that common fire.
Yeah.
That common like Latina en ti sale, como que it's like, yeah, tú sabes. And it's como que,
I think you could have multiple careers. But okay, so when you're doing their branding, when you see it in them, do they see it? Do they know how to project it?
Some of them know it.
Yeah. Do they know how to project it, though? Do they know how to put it out there in public? Or are they relying on someone to do it for them? Because
I do it them visually. I connect.
There you go.
I grab what they like.
Yeah.
And I build around that.
Yeah.
So I'm like example, like Monica from Web Valutas. She sells children's books to schools.
Oh, great.
And she loves color like I do. So her branding is unapologetically colorful. And like the clothing is colorful. The things that her nails are colorful. You know, it's her. That's the color she likes. That's the things that she's attracted to. And I just amplify it. So I think branding is amplification. It's having someone on your side, on your team, rooting for you. But it's making you look cohesive. So it's like connecting those, because first gen Latina, we're thinking everything, right? We're overwhelmed, right? We're tired, we're pushing through. I think Latina, first, we're pushing through. I think that's the best way.
Yes.
What if you have somebody on your side rooting for you, saying those things that you already know, but just giving you that kick, that extra that you need visually so people can see it. And so when it comes to branding, it's that conversation. It's that I'm seeing from a design perspective, I'm seeing from an aesthetic, I'm seeing from a commercial side, those things, and I'm just giving you rails to go all the way. So it's like for me, color is very important, branding, and trust me, all those colors that my branding project, they want those colors. It was not me. They liked mine, and they were attracted to my aesthetic.
Of course.
The colors they have on their identity is intentionally from them. So when people see it, they're like, oh, you're from this brand. Oh, yeah, looks like you. Oh, this. So when you present yourself and you go to corporate and you go to those spaces that used to be, they try to wash you down and streamline you.
Yeah.
You stand out, but you feel confident because we're not saying be less professional. And we're saying, I'm going to come here and this is me.
It can be really difficult, though. I think it can be really difficult. I love that you're doing that for women and women-owned businesses and for bringing them out, like you say, unapologetically. This is who you are. Let's stand behind that. Your business stands behind who you are rather than vice versa. They see you coming. But it can be really difficult when you're in a corporate situation, when you're in a different company situation where the higher ups, the decision makers, don't have that same view, that same understanding, that same comfort. I think it's just comfort, like fear of something different.
That's where you need a Latina, because you know that if you have gone through certain things in life, you hit a stage point where you're like, just kicks this out. It's like, I know enough of the industry. I know how to do the talks. I know how to do the meetings. I can do the negotiations. I can get the job. Now watch me go. Like, you're not going to find me where you left me. I think it's and it goes back to the book. I think it's a stage. I think it's like you go through stages in your life. And in the book, they call it like little deaths. Pequeñas muertes. And it's like you just go a new version of yourself. But it's not like a 180. It's not a complete change. It's just like a little evolution, like little moment.
Yeah.
I think the comment that I would from my clients is that they've been entrepreneurs for a while. They've been in their industry for a long time. They know the business well, right? So this is the moment I'm going to make a change, not only for myself, but for my community or for my industry. And I feel like that is the moment when we connect, and it's like, I'm just going to like give you that extra kick to get you to your business.
I had this experience with my first husband, and you have to be careful about opening that door for them. Because when someone says, oh, you have to straighten your hair. Actually, you have to straighten your hair and cut your hair. Actually, straighten, cut, and don't wear earrings. And they keep going and going. And you want to comply to just like, okay, whatever, let's just keep moving forward. Let's get along and keep. But what you don't realize is that nothing is going to be good enough, right? So they keep whittling and whittling and whittling away at you until you have maybe one little piece that's authentically you. And you think, you know, if I give up this one little piece, I'm gone, right? Yeah. Everything I am, everything I love about myself is gone. So I'm not going to do it. And then once you do that, it's like, well, now I want this back and I want that back. And you start rebuilding yourself.
And I think it's a journey with yourself. I think it's something that we all women have experienced, no matter from what background we come from, our heritage we go through that stage. I think and I think it's like, just like how much am I willing to give up and what am I not willing to give up. And I think once you hit that threshold of being like, okay, this is enough. Like, I'm over it. I'm going to do.
Right. And then you unleash. Then they don't see it coming. But now, okay, you have woken up the beast.
Yeah, you went from you went from a heartbreak, disappointment, then tusa, then you go play drop. You know, we know it. I think us Latinas, we have the best comebacks. I think we've seen it in our lives, like our comebacks.
Yeah. And you don't see it coming. You won't see it coming because you think you have beat us down. You think you have silenced us. You think you have put us in a box and you're all machismo, like my brothers. No, you woke the beast.
Yeah, exactly. You woke the beast. Exactly. Your Latina urge is to fight back. And if you thought me being this way, you're not even ready for what's happening right now.
Exactly.
Right?
You get fired up. And you don't even know about yourself at that point, because when you get fired up, you're going to a place that you haven't been before with yourself. You don't know what's coming out. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty. Just don't even question.
And I think
don't hold back.
I think seeing other women doing it is what we need. We need that. We need to see women being, okay, I did it too. I did it in my industry, and this is how I did it. And this is where I came. This is what happened, and this is where I'm going, and where I'm at. I think the more we talk about it, the more we share about it, the more we communicate about it, the more we unapologetically share our stories. They're not perfect. They're not curated. They're Cinderella stories.
Yeah.
It's the best thing because other people are going to see it and, okay. So actually I can do what my gut tells me to do instead of what I'm thinking I'm expected to do. And I think that's the moving forward for us.
Right.
That's the moving forward as a generation. That's the moving forward as a community and as Latinos. I think is, okay, our parents did what they did. They took us to where they could. Thank you for that. But now I'm taking over and I'm going way more.
Yeah. And a little different.
Yeah, exactly. Different. It's like, thank you for putting me here economically, education, position, country, wherever. But my way is different and that's okay. But I need to trust my gut. I need to go and break something different.
Yeah. So where do you think going forward, because this is an unknown, I feel like I know women have always been pushing back, but this is really an era where women own, like they have power. One, they have wealth. Two, they have voice and freedom. They have power. Where do you see women who might be hesitating trying to go forward in that power? What's an easy reach for women who might be still a little uncomfortable because the cultura and the family are real?
Yeah. La Latina in me keeps fire.
Yeah. There's a total stoking of the fire every night, like wake up on fire.
So my mom, like, I always drop myself out of bed, and my mom is like, "What do you mean that you fall out of bed?" It's like, yeah, I have to get things done. It's like, just like, there's no beautiful phrases like, oh, well, no.
Yeah, like open the window, the birds are singing. It's like, let's get shit done.
I think the most important thing, openness about being different. I think diverse as we are as Latino, we still have a lot of prejudice inside the community. And I feel like not being open to different identities is it's a very hard, real struggle. Not right now, but always. I think it's always been there. I think calling it a new is disrespecting older generation that have been through it, because it's not something new. It's always been there. It's just that we didn't talk about it. I think openness in sexuality, openness in relationships, openness in business, openness in what family is. I think for me, chosen family is very important. Like, I have my own chosen family, mi familia. Chosen family by my mom, who pick her friends, and they're my tios and my tias. Chosen family by me, who are my friends, who for me are like siblings, are like ride or die people, So I think openness in that, and stop limiting yourself because of what the expectations of familia is. I think it's a big star for everybody. These days, my favorite thing is going to with my friends. We all love cooking, right? But we love cooking, like geeking cooking.
What's your favorite Panamanian dish, or your favorite mezclado dish, because you're the Chino and Latina?
Yeah, okay. I mean, if we're going for mezclado, there's nothing more Panamanian than Chinese dim sum. I think every Panameño on Sunday eats dim sum. I think for me, coming back to Panama, I always patacones and pescado frito. I want fried red snapper, like golden fried red snapper with like the picante, the hichombo, and like beautiful big patacones, like golden patacones, like the relish salad. Yeah, for me, it's like pescado frito patacones. It's like, it's home. For me, it's like, that's what I want. That's like the most Panamanian thing for me.
Oh, that sounds so great. Okay, so good. For people wanting to be in Panama, to experience Panama, what do you feel like should be the takeaway from being in Panama?
Panama is bipolar. So half of the city will be sunny, half the city will be rainy. You will see half the sky gray and half the sky sunny in a small city. So be ready for rain. That doesn't take away from being on the beach. I think being by the sea is very Panamanian. You can relax by the sea and see the jungle and see nature. We have mountain, we have coffee towns that have like, they grow the best coffee in Panama in the world.
That would be fun.
And as more colder weather, like Boquete, you can, like, Chiriquí is beautiful. It's beautiful and green, and you can enjoy like colder weather and mountain, like cloudy forest, tropical forest. And then we have Los Santos that has like beautiful blue beaches and white and beautiful trees with flowers, like guanhoches, and like you have more. So it's beach and well. And I think, we have San Blas, who is like little islands, like they look from like like the little white island with like four
with one palm tree on.
Yeah, that's exactly what we have in San Blas, and it's beautiful, like crystal water. I think Panama is going back to nature.
It's beautifully warm. But the city is like, wow. I was in the sea. I ended in Panama City after Colombia last year, and the city blew my mind. Like, what? And the food, I was like,
the food culture. Now our food culture is more
so
diverse and more Panamanian. I like what the food industry, what the food entrepreneurs are doing with Panama right now. It's amazing. They got amazing. Like community that our chef have built, not only outside as a reputation, but inside Panama. It's also great. And it's really great to see that. It's like a small community that we all know each other, and it's nice to see how that entrepreneur community works together. It's not like a competition thing. And that is what we want to do. That's the message that Panama wants to put forward when it comes to business. We want to show that we're small, but we have a big, beautiful community that supports each other no matter what you're doing. It's like, it's not about competition. It's about cheering each other towards what we want to do as a goal. And I think that is the best. That's the best step that you can take from Panama when it comes to business.
Yeah. the community and the people are very empowered and very tight, because we were there last year amongst the protests where the government was trying to give away the resource rights.
You were
Literally that weekend. Weekend. I was like, whoop. They knew I was coming. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
we didn't have that level of protest. I was born 1988 when it was so we didn't see that level of civil fight between like actually commitment to it, since our mother started protesting with the bailas and stuff like that. So it was a very important big moment for us. It was like seeing the younger generation actually going, seeing everybody supporting it, seeing the level of commitment as a country it definitely has changed the discussion when it comes to politics and when it comes to holding people accountable for us as a country. And I think definitely has shaking, it's little by little, but I think it's definitely shaking a lot of like politicians, because they were not expecting, and they're still not expecting being held accountable for it. So I think, yeah, you came in a good moment, historic moment.
And just learning about it, because I knew of it. I mean, my father did it. My father did it in Peru. I was like, eh. But when seeing the people, seeing them united, and then seeing the paper the next day, and it's like, they backed down. The government said, oh, yeah, because people are watching. And for so many generations, they knew they had the power to do whatever they want because people couldn't do anything about it. So it is exciting.
They were not expecting that level of support with the younger generation. They were not expecting that level of not backing down.
I've learned so much about you. We have learned I love your energy. If your friend's the sun, I don't know, I feel like you're like a comet. Like a blazing on fire, fast. But what would be something that in all this story you've given us of your no fear of the unknown, dive right in, fight back, just love of your matriarchy, homage to your matriarchy, the vibrancy in color. What is something that we would not guess about you?
I do watch so much TV to work. It's like I eat up TV series so badly. It's like Netflix cannot keep up with me. Are there any new series right now?
I wouldn't have expected that at all. No.
I thought like Nike was every season about Star Galactica in a row. That's how
Is this for inspiration? Is this for what does the TV do?
The TV and the show keeps me focused and me not doom scrolling, getting on focus, empowering through. So it's like, for me, it's like, okay, it's 12 episodes. So by episode 1, I got this stage done. By the second episode, I got this. So it's my project manager.
It is your project manager. I was going to say it's tracking you on your project.
It's tracking me. So
it's brilliant.
So for me, it's like I need a big series, right? And it's the most random. Every project had a different series, but it has nothing to do with what I'm working on. So it's like,
did you ever get caught up in it? Did you ever get distracted by it?
I love sci-fi. I'm a big geek sci-fi and anime fan. Yeah, it's like I love sci-fi.
Okay, wait, there it is. There it is.
I love Star Trek, Star Wars. It's like, you know.
Wow. You have all these like little facets that are ridiculous. There's like the heavy metal drop, the MTV drop. Oh, you are so lovely. I have loved this. I have loved this so much because you are fire. I swear, you are fire. Oh, thank you so, so much. This has been so much fun. And I love this story you have. I know this is going to resonate with everyone globally. This is a story that just really helps empower and encourage women to embrace their messy side, embrace their authenticity. It is truly ancestry to authenticity with you. It is amazing.
Thank you. I had a great time. I made like a little story. I'm going to post it on Instagram and tag you for Find Your Voice on my personal one so that you can tag it. I'm going to film something.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh, that's perfect. Mariery Young, Chinese Panamanian founder of Mezcla Studio and matriarchal advocate for female empowerment. Her energy and love of family fuels the bold designs that proudly represent her Panama in all its messiness, from interlocking plants and people to its unique way of living life with a natural beauty. Her words of wisdom speak to all. The need to discover your true self buried within the expectations of others, of society, yet thriving in uniqueness and importance. Take a moment to check out Mariery's amazing work in artistry on her website at mezclaostudio.com. Now remember, it's mezclao Panamanian style, not mezclado, and on Instagram with her personal profile at Mariery Young and the studio at Mezclao Studio. If being bold, unique, and colorful speaks to you, then work with Mariery to brand your true identity for all the world to see. All of this will be in the show notes so you can easily click through. And remember the woman who runs with wolves. That will be there too. So join us next week for yet another bold Latina empowering you to love who you are at every stage of your journey. Heather Reese, Peruana, attorney, plus-size model, and Latina advocate, is all about showing up in authenticity to support each other. And talk about self-discovery. Heather was adopted at birth by a Jewish mother and California father, raised on the East Coast, and this Latina is here for you. She talks about everything from challenges faced by minority women in the legal profession, journeys of navigating cultural dichotomies, and finding your voice with confidence. She hit that aha moment and never looked back. This one is all about self-love, confidence, and the importance of community, and how embracing vulnerability and authenticity can lead to those strong relationships and that much-needed personal growth, to believe in yourself. You can listen to Heather now as she shares her shout-outs to Latina businesses on Instagram at Heather_R_XOXO and watch her sassy runway walk right into success. Step into your truth. Ciao. We love that you have subscribed to this podcast and continue to champion women who understand the life of all things Latina. Be sure to follow and subscribe to the Encuentras Your Voice podcast so you don't miss a single episode. They will automatically drop into your listening device each week, and we'd really appreciate if you take a moment to add to the reviews that we already have. Tell us what you like, tell us what you're hoping to hear, and we will get there. Share this with your friends and family to help us grow our comunidad, and keep following us on our social media to Encuentras Your Voice. We are so grateful to you for helping us grow this community and would love to learn of all the amazing Latinas who you know are creating the world we thrive in. So reach out to me on social media at Encuentras Your Voice, and let's keep leaning into our authenticity in pride. Help us make Encuentras Your Voice the place where you are 100% represented.